Let's take a look at a real-world application of solving linear systems by substitution. So we have the following situation. Paul needs to choose between two investment sites. Trade House costs $10 per month and an additional $5 per trade. eShare costs $25 a month and an additional $3 per trade. We want to know which site offers the better deal. Now we're going to go ahead and assume that our decision is strictly based by price and not any extra services that they do for you. We're just based solely on which one's the cheaper idea. Now, Paul's choice will depend on how many trades he expects to make per month, because that's actually his cost is a function of how many trades. So we're going to define a few variables here. So let's let X equal the number of trades that Paul makes each month. So the number of trades per month, and we're going to let Y equal the cost of the investment site. Okay, so X is going to be the number of trades, Y is going to be the total cost. The variable X is also known as the independent variable because it's actually just whatever the number of trades are. Y is the dependent variable because it actually depends on how many trades are made. So it's dependent, it's a function of how many trades Paul makes per month. So let's go ahead and write two equations. So first one we have is Trade House. We want an equation for each investment site, and this is very similar to the application that we did on solving linear systems. We went over that in a previous section. So let's go ahead and make an equation for each one, Trade House and eShare. So Trade House, the cost of this, the cost Y, is going to equal, Trade House costs $10 per month and an additional $5 a trade. Now we want to know what has a better deal as applies to cost per month. So per month actually isn't going to be a factor here. This is going to be $10 is a flat rate plus $5 per trade. Well, the number of trades is X, so we're going to have Y equals 5 times X plus 10. That's going to yield the cost for Trade House. Now the monthly cost for eShare is going to be $3 a trade and $25 a month. So it's going to be 3 times X plus 25. Okay, so we have a set of equations, one for both trading site. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the graph of this looks like. All right, now again, we're going to use just quadrant 1 here because it would be safe to assume that both the number of trades and the cost of the site is going to be non-negative. It wouldn't make sense to make a negative number amount of trades or pay an investment site a negative amount of money. All right, so this axis is going to be the cost, and we're going to measure that just in dollars. And this is going to be the number of trades made. So the number of trades. All right, so let's go ahead and scale this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. All right, let's go ahead and scale it by 5s. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I like to accompany a graph, though it's not necessary here. An accompanying graph, like I said, it just gives us a little bit of a visual representation. It helps to see what's actually going on in a situation. So visual representations, visual aids are always good in understanding a problem. So we have the trades. Let's go ahead and say 1 trade, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all the way up to 10. Let's say he makes around within 0 and 10 trades, and here's 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and we want to graph these. So let's get a good idea of what the graph of these looks like. So we have the first one. We have Y equals 5X plus 10. All right, so let's go ahead and plug in some values for X. So when X is 0, Y is $10. And that makes sense because even if he doesn't make any trades, Trade House is still going to charge him a flat rate of $10 a month, so he can't pay less than $10. If he makes 1 trade, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 10 is 15. If he makes 2 trades, it's 20. If he makes 3 trades, it's 25. So 3 and 25 is right here. If he makes 4 trades, it's 30. And this is going to go up by 5s. That's why we scaled it by 5s. 6, he's going to be at 40. 7, he's going to be at 45. And 8 is going to be at 50. Okay, so let's draw a semi-straight line as best as we can that passes through all these points. Some of them we have to use our little imagination to imagine that they pass through all these points. Okay, so here's our line, and this is for trade house. This is going to define the investments, or the cost of the investment site trade house, should he go with that investment site. All right, now we want to graph the line of the cost line of eShare. eShare charges him a flat rate of $25. So when he makes 0 trades, he's going to be up here. And then when he makes 1 trade, he's being charged $3 per trade. So when he makes 1 trade, it's going to be 3 plus 25 is 28. This is going to have a flatter trajectory. This one's going to be 31. We're adding 3 each time, so 34. And 37. And 40. 40 is right here. 43 is at 6. 46 is at 7. And 49 is right about at 8. So when he makes 8 trades, he's at $49. So it's roughly the same once they get to 8 trades. And we'll see how that we interpret that in a second. So let's draw our straight line. Whenever you're drawing by freehand and it's not going to be absolutely perfect and it's not going to pass all the points, you might want to just concentrate on the first point and the last point. As long as you get there, you know you have a straight line, and just kind of imagine that that goes through all the points. Okay, now as far as our equations goes, this is the visual representation. This line right here is the cost line of eShare. And you see why visual representation is a little better, because we see over time trade house is going to be more expensive, but even though at first eShare is more expensive. So it depends on how many trades he makes. The more trades he makes, the more expensive trade house is going to be in comparison with eShare. All right, so that's why visual representation is very helpful. Let's go ahead and look at the equations. Now, since both equations are in slope-intercept form, or are equal to y, we can set them equal to each other. If you recall, when a equals c and b equals c, then a equals b, so we can actually set these two equations equal to each other. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We have 5x plus 10 equals, it's the same thing as substituting in 5x plus 10 in for y right here, or vice versa, because y equals, we have our variable solved in terms of our other variables, so we're just plugging it into the second equation, if it makes sense. This is indeed a substitution problem. So now we have an equation, and we can go ahead and solve for x. So let's go ahead and subtract 3x from both sides. These two terms cancel, so we get 2x. We can go ahead and subtract 10 from both sides in the same step. We get 2x equals 25 minus 10 is 15. And finish it off by dividing both sides by 2, which means x is going to equal 15 over 2. We'll just say 7.5 for this application. This tells us that our two lines intersect. Let's get a different color here. They intersect at x equals 7.5. So the intersection of the graph of these two lines is going to be right here. And that's actually, we drew it pretty accurately, because this is the intersection of the two lines at 7.5. So the cost of these two investment sites are exactly the same when we make 7.5 trades, even though that doesn't make sense because we can't make 7.5 trades. So that means the two sites cost the same if Paul makes 7.5 trades, but since we can't make 7.5 trades, what we can take away from this information is that trade house is cheaper if Paul makes 7 trades or less per month. And if he makes 8 or more trades per month, then eShare is the better deal. So our question being asked is, which site offers the better deal? And the answer to that is, it depends. Trade house is the better deal if Paul makes, if number of trades, if X is less than 7, and E share is the better deal if Paul makes more than 7 trades, or X is greater than 7. So this is actually the interpretation of our answer. We gave it in both equation form, and we wrote it out, and we drew it in graph form. And we're interpreting all this information to tell you that TradeHouse, it offers the better deal if Paul makes less than 7 trades according to these prices given, and eShare is the better deal if the number of trades made per month is greater than 7. All right, so this is a really good application of solving a linear system by substitution. We'll actually do one more in the next video, so I'll see you soon.